So, here's the principles of referral. All these principles will be foundational to all the how-to systems I'm going to teach you. Okay, the principles of referrals, right off the bat. People have a built-in desire to refer. People have a built-in desire to refer, a built-in desire. One of the beautiful things for me teaching this system across the country is that I don't have to invent this. I don't have to artificially create a demand. How many of you in here have ever referred a friend to a restaurant? Let me see your hands real quick. Aha. It's a built-in desire. Now, were you paid? Did you get a kickback from the restaurant? No. The 3 fundamental principles of the referral system. This is crucial. You'll hear this 20 times over the next 2 days. Here are the 3 fundamentals of the system, and they've got to be in this order, or it won't work as effectively. You got to give, then you ask, then you receive. Give, ask, receive. You got to give, then you got to ask, then you will receive. But it's all in this format. If you ask first, what does that make you? A taker. If you give first, what does that make you? A giver. Now, here's the key. Most givers have a hard time receiving. Here's the way most givers do it. They have these unspoken, unmet needs. Lee, I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give to you, and I'm going to give to you some more. I'm going to give to you some more. And secretly, in my heart, the whole time, I'm hoping at some point in time, you're going to give a little bit back. And I'm very disappointed when you don't. How many of you have felt that way? Let me see your hands. How many of you have felt like I'm just giving and giving and giving and giving? I'm turning into a doormat. I've just given. There's nothing left for me to give. How many of you have had that experience? Now, here's the thing. The giver's difficulty is 2 things. First of all, the giver has to open themselves up to receive. The next thing is the giver's got to learn to ask, and ask an appropriate way. Now, I asked my clients for referrals in such a way they enjoyed it. I'm going to teach you how to do that. They enjoyed it, but you must ask. Now, there's a lot of reasons why we don't ask. A lot of times, the real givers go, I just don't feel like I should have to ask. Here's the thing. If you're a real giver, you cannot project onto somebody else an expectation that they're a real giver too. They might be a moderate giver. You might be a super giver. Is this true, yes or no? Here's the next thing. Do you know that most of the people close to you, most of the people in your immediate sphere of influence don't actually know you have a need? Do you know most of the people close to you, most of the people you come in contact with on a daily basis think you're already very busy? Maybe they even feel like you're too busy. You know, many of the people close to you already feel that they might actually think you're already successful. And part of the problem is we have a little thing going on in real estate called the peacock factor. It goes on in lending too. And the peacock factor is every day we kind of get dressed up, and people say you got to look successful. You got to talk successful. You got to walk successful. You got to drive the nice leased car. People say to you, "How's business?" "Great, fantastic, yeah." And you might be dying on the vine, but you've got to project this image of success. Is that true? Now, here's a couple of little principles on this. Okay? We have to learn to ask. In fact, here's a principle to remember: the most successful people ask. The most successful people ask. Most people have this wrong impression of success. They think the successful people don't ask. Don't have to ask. It just comes to them. No. That's what they call being unemployed. The most successful people ask, and they ask again and again and again, when appropriate. Okay? Althea Gibson said, "Nothing great or significant has ever taken place without somebody first getting help." Okay? You've got to you've got to allow yourself to be helped. That, by the way, that some of you think, no, that's a humility statement that you don't let yourself be helped. It's actually pride. It's actually pride that stops you from being helped. No, I'm okay. Is that humility or is that pride? It's pride. Now, we can couch it and think it's being humble. No, it's not. Okay? Prideful says, I'm okay, I'm self-sufficient, I don't need anyone's help. Okay? When life turns upside down, people often hit their knees and pray. Is that true? When all hell done broke loose, people start praying. Because all of a sudden they start feeling so self-sufficient. Is that true? I'm going to go to someone who can give me some help. Okay? And so that's what we do. So we can feel self-sufficient. So you've got to learn to ask. And you've got to learn to ask, and you've got to learn to ask in such a way that after you've given, it opens up the door. When you give somebody, it opens up the door to ask, and ask properly. And now, here's the other little piece I want to give to you. Do you know that most of your asking is not done verbally? Most of human communication when done one-on-one, is actual physical visual. Do you know that human beings give off an energy to one another? Have you ever been in a room where somebody yawned? Have you ever seen that? Okay? Yeah, you can't help yourself yawning. And so people will come along, and the market was pretty hot here for a while. Is that true? And people will say to you, gee, how's the market? You're like, oh, I'm freaking out right now. I have this one buyer, I've been showing him house after house. There's no inventory. People are bidding these ridiculous prices. There's counter offers everywhere. The whole market's just gone to hell. Are you giving off the energy, I really need your referrals? People who care about you, they won't want to give you one. They don't want to screw you up any more than you already are. I don't care how busy I was. Gee, Brian, how's business? You know, Mark, business is great. But I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. That's the sugar mama likes right there. Yeah, okay. Give, ask, receive. Say it with me. The three principles of the referral system are give. Every system, every dialogue, everything I will teach you over 2 days will fall into those principles. Every single one will fall into those. All right. Contrasting cold and warm lead systems. A cold lead is someone afraid of being taken advantage of. That's their fear. They're afraid of being taken advantage of. That's why they don't trust you. They meet you at an open house. They call in off a sign. They call in off an ad. They might be good people. They just don't know that you are. And because of that, they have their barriers up. By the way, should they have their barriers up, yes or no? Yeah. Otherwise, they'd be naive and probably taken advantage of. Okay? By somebody. A referred lead is someone afraid of being taken for granted. Never take for granted those that are close to you. Friends, family. If your mom calls you to do a transaction, come over and take my loan application. Don't show up in the jogging suit with the hair sideways. Okay? If you get dressed up normally to go to work, you get dressed up for those people. If you try to be professional in your image, you be very professional. The closer they are to you, the more professional you need to be. Does this make sense? Yes. Because their fear is, well, gee, we're good friends, but I hope Chris doesn't, hope she doesn't dawdle on this just because we're buddies. She knows I'm not going to say anything to her. And a lot of times people have a fear of doing business with somebody close to them. How many of you have heard the phrase, by the way, don't do business with friends or family? How many of you have heard that? You know what the fear is there? The fear is that you're not any good. Of course they'd want to do business with friends or family if they knew that you were good. If that makes sense, say yes. They got to know that you're good. I'm going to teach you how to communicate that to them. The motivation of a referral is pure. Boy, there's not many things in life that are pure, but the motivation of a referral is. Mark refers me to June because he wants June to have a good experience. He refers me to June because he trusts me. He doesn't expect anything in return. What he might get is June calling him up and saying thank you. The motivation of a referral is pure. Just so you know, that's already in existence. You don't have to artificially create it. It's already out there. It's like a stream that's flowing. Let's real quick do an overview of the entire referral systems we're going to teach for 2 days. I want you to visualize as if we're going into orange juice business. So here's how the overview of the entire referral systems. The industrial juicing machine. What we're after is the juice, and the juice represents referrals, if you'd like to write that in. Referrals. All righty. So we're going in the orange juice business. Now, in order for you to have orange juice, what do you got to have? Oranges. Here's my exhortation to every one of you. All the juice you need for your business is contained inside your database, and that's what represents the oranges, your database. You don't need to go anywhere else. Right here. All the business you will ever need is right here in your database. Then we have to have mechanisms by which we extract orange juice. Okay? We've got to have mechanisms. And so these two pieces are very important. The first one is written communication. Written communication. And over here we have personal contact. Written communication, personal contact. When those are applied to the database, it produces the orange juice. The clean glass. Imagine, picture this. Picture that I go and I grow some oranges in my backyard. Cultivate the trees, prune them back. Okay, take loving care of these orange trees. Hand-pick the fruit with my kids. Wash off all the oranges. Now we take a section of them and we squeeze them by hand. And we put them in these big vases. in jugs, and we stick them in the fridge to chill. And they're there for a few hours, and the condensation's on the outside of the glass, and we've done a marvelous job of cultivating and harvesting these beautiful oranges into this beautiful orange juice that's now crystal cold, and we take out the pitcher, and we take out a glass, and we pour it into a glass that has a couple of big hocked-up loogies inside it. Some visuals are more powerful than others. I've seen people do that in their business every day. Every day I see people do this in their business. They work so hard, they generate the referral, they get the referral, and then here's what they do. They put it in a dirty glass. And so the glass represents exceptional customer service. Exceptional customer service. And then the conveyor belt itself, that represents your business systems. Your business systems. Your business systems. Here's how we're going to teach this class for the next couple days. We're going to spend time initially on your database. Then what's going to happen is we're going to talk about written communication systems. Then we're going to talk about personal contact to generate the referrals. Tomorrow we're going to get into exceptional customer service and business systems itself. Now I want to give you an example of what this looks like, okay? First and foremost, what you got to have in order to do this, like Betty Crocker would say, I feel like Emeril Lagasse right now. This is beautiful, okay? You got to have your oranges, okay? The oranges represent what? The database, okay? Now the juicer, what this is going to represent is the written communication, okay? And we're going to show you some very sharp written communication techniques that will actually help you produce orange juice. Now, here's how most people try to do their business. They take their database and they send something in the mail to them. Sometimes they send a lot of things in the mail. What are we missing? We're missing the personal contact. Look what happens when you have personal contact with the database. It makes the systems more efficient, more powerful. I want to give you a number to write down. Next to personal contact, I want you to put 7 times. 7 times. Up to 7 times more effective. Now you need both. You need both. The systems I'm going to show you are very sharp. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, for years, how has this business been taught? Here's how it was. That each transaction was individual and separate. Find them, fleece them, forget them. Get in, get out, get gone. Make a deal, make a sale, close the sale, and then go out and prospect, 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 prospect. Is that true? You take the database, you work the database, and then you leave them alone. This is how it's been taught. This is called the splash zone, just so you know. And what you do is you take the database and you whack it one time, and whatever you got that one time is what you got. Does that make sense, yes or no? What I'm going to teach you is how to cultivate. I'm going to teach you how to cultivate your database. I'm going to teach you how this database will actually produce orange after orange after orange after orange itself, season after season after season. It's called reaping and sowing. And so we're going to sow these. And we're going to show you even the types of oranges we're going to show. We're going to be very particular in the types of oranges we choose to sow. Very important indeed. So that's kind of the overview right there. Well, as you can see, the referral systems I'm talking about are very much a common sense approach to this business. Now, what we have to do is understand that we're going to be going against the grain of how the industry is taught to do this business for a long time. Once you accept that, no problem. Columbus didn't accept the fact that the world was flat. So, the next series of videos are very important for you to watch. The next one in this series is how to build a profitable database.